guys, welcome back to the channel. Over this past couple of weeks, I hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for showing me all this support. It is definitely something that I was reaching out for, and I share as much as I possibly can, and I thank you guys for doing that as well. So this week, we're looking to record a new podcast. That'll be next weekend. I'm going to record that with some friends and go over personal experiences and things like that in the different forms and things that those guys have gone through mental health. I know that a lot of people that I know have been through mental health issues and can definitely contribute something to you guys. So let's get into it for this week. I want to talk about OCD this week, and I've actually had to make a lot of notes because it's not something I knew that much about, and I'm going to be referring to those notes quite a lot because I don't want to give you guys false information about any of this. What I'll do is I'll read something and then we'll go through the personal experience of that. So, what is OCD? OCD is a serious anxiety-related condition where a person experiences frequent, intrusive, and unwelcome obsessional thoughts, also referred to as obsessions. These obsessions do bring some relief to the distress, but this is temporary as it reoccurs each time a person's obsessive thoughts are triggered. So that's the kind of the common one that you see where people are cleaning and then they assume that something's not clean and then they clean it again and again and again and again until a point where they actually feel the relief that that is clean. What I will say is that in the description below there are some links that you can use if you do think that you have OCD, and if you have it in its chronic form, then I suggest that you use those links. And everybody else who's watching, please raise awareness and let the person know if you think that they are suffering with this. So, what else have I got here? So, a bit of information from the World Health Organization. This condition can be so disabling that in the 1990, the World Health Organization actually ranked OCD in the top 10 global leading causes of disability in terms of loss of income and quality of life. Yeah, so people are actually stopping going to work because of it. Whether it be like closing the door multiple times, these common ones that you see on TV and in the media. It's actually stopping people from doing their job and living their lives, and it can be quite upsetting and distressing to them, which can lead to other mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. And it also says here that it was also suggested that OCD was the 5th leading cause of burden for women in developed countries. I can see that being an issue in more developed countries with, obviously with the stigma, the divide men and women, but it's not something that I believe in myself, but it's obviously one thing that was driven back early in the early 90s, in the early 1900s maybe. So, the other thing that I've got here is pop culture has done nothing to help raise awareness of OCD, because people are referring to celebrities as being a little OCD, which isn't what people who are trying to raise real awareness for the disorder are actually trying to do. So it says here that it fails to take into account that the D actually stands for disorder. This is not only unhelpful but can be both damaging and stigmatic to those that actually have the disorder. Yeah, so it can definitely be damaging, because before I did this research, I seen OCD as something that was quite, I mean, laughable almost, because like you see people putting the tins straight in a cupboard, everything's got to be in the right way, in a right line, and you get those things where it just seems quite funny, and it's damaged this actual really serious disorder that these people have got. So let's do our best to try and raise awareness of people who are actually suffering with this. The next bit that I've got here down is for treatment of this. So if you want to learn more about this treatment, as I've said before, the links are down in the description. Just scroll down, click it, and it'll take you straight to the page. There's the first two treatments here actually. It's CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. The first one is response, and the second one is exposure therapy, which both kind of relate to the same thing. Response therapy is working with a therapist to determine which of the obsessions are your worst and which ones are it's kind of like ranking them 1 through 10 on a degree of severity, and then they'll work on you with number 1, and once they've solved that one, they'll work on you with number 2, and so on and so forth. Whereas exposure therapy is gradual exposure to trigger situations, not assessing them for which ones are worse, just jumping in there, kind of like jumping in at the deep end and trying to solve them. It's like when you're trying to overcome a fear, the best thing to do is go and do it. The last one is medication. Now, I couldn't really find much information about medication apart from some tablets that have actually been discontinued now. It says that antidepressants are usually the first thing that gets prescribed to people, and this is something that I would have seen in the past myself, not from personal experience, but I've seen other people with this. It's known as a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, which is definitely something that I cannot say. And it says that it's not as effective as the cognitive behavioural therapy, which I would tend to agree with. But yeah, that's as bad as much information as I could find. The 5 things that I would like you to remember from this this vlog, if anything, is OCD is a real issue and it can't be joked about. It can be treated, so don't try not to stress so much about the whole I'm not normal kind of situation. It is okay to not be okay. It's not a phase, so don't say that to somebody who you think has got OCD. Take them to the doctor or advise them to go to the doctor. OCD can be destructive, as we discussed before, saying people have actually lost income and quality of life because of it. It can also... No, that's not right. OCD should not be joked about was my last point here, which I did actually cover on my first point. So it affects a lot of people, and it's definitely something that we should be raising awareness of. I did feel like talking about this obscure topic this week. It's not something that a lot of people do talk about, but it's definitely something that it was requested that I talk about. Once again, thank you for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I can't even tell you how happy I am with that. And this has been one of the best experiences I've ever had. Thanks very much for watching, guys.